Hi, Timo. It's so great to see you once again. Obviously, SVG Europe, we're proud to have Euromedia Group on as a sponsor. We usually would be gathering in Amsterdam, having too much beer, having too much food in about a week and a half. We aren't, but I'm glad to see you virtually. So, it's really appreciate your time to give a little bit of overview of what's going on in the marketplace and what Euromedia Group has planned for the future. But let's go back before COVID even, because I know when you go back to January and December, if you and I were talking, we'd be talking about the future of production. There's the REMI, there's the move towards IP, there's the move towards virtualized hardware. Let's go back to then as far as what you saw at the marketplace and then what sort of happened since then. The challenging market, because it was pretty challenging back then, if we do recall, for different reasons.
Well, yes, it was challenging indeed. We think that the market already was in a transformation phase for some time now. Think about transition HD, UHD, SDR, HDR, more IP-based solutions, and an increasing interest in remote productions, as well as in the other side of the market, the more simplified solutions. We had to face new players coming into the market, thinking about the telcos, thinking about the tech giants. And we have seen some of the global sports organizations trying to reposition themselves. So market was definitely getting more challenging. I think at SVG we've been talking about this for a while. There was a lot of budget pressure at many of our clients. Right. You've seen the trend of increasing rights fees, and every time you think you have hit the ceiling, you find out afterwards that it can go up even more. Right. And also traditional broadcast is definitely being pressured by OTT and by some other digital trends coming up. Right. So this all resulted in market requirements that have been and still are rapidly changing. And then there was the COVID-19 story that hit us overnight and brutally stopped a large part of our business. I think we've all lived through that. But now, while the market is trying to slowly recover, we see that it does accelerate some needs for some Sure. new business models.
Right, exactly.
Which brings new challenges, as you mentioned.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's your sense on, as a provider, everyone has said, their 5-year, your clients have said, a lot of them, their 5-year plans are now a 5-month plan or a 5-week plan, even given the current situation. So, what kind of steps are you taking to kind of really get ready for this new world? Because it will return, but there are going to be some new workflows that are going to stay in place. So what's been the challenge from your design team, and how are you responding with new products and services?
Well, we definitely had to look at a shorter term as things changed so rapidly. On the short term, we were able as a pan-European group to move around some of our assets across Europe. Different of our countries suddenly had different needs, different requirements. So we shifted around and we tried to optimize our assets as much as possible. We prepared ourselves to be more agile, to come out with more agile workflows, remote productions, obviously focusing on a strong cost focus. Right. But I think the key word in all of this, what we have learned is I would summarize it in one word, being flexibility. We just noticed that in everything we do, small productions as well as the big productions we do, flexibility is the key words. And this in a way fitted perfectly in a project that we have started a few years ago, at the time under the name Objective 2020, which we call now Deploy, which is a very, very advanced and very flexible, modular, scalable IP system.
Yeah, I think when you mentioned the word flexibility, the defining term in our industry has been, well, then you want to go IP, because IP gives you that flexibility. So
Yes, we definitely want to go IP. So if deploy only in a few words is a redundant IP workflow covering video, audio, and data, all in one integrated network. So it gives you some more flexibility compared to the traditional SDI worlds. It allows you to use some new formats, UHD, HDR. But mainly, it creates a more, I would call it a lightweight setup with simplified connectivity.
Right. So before we get to, I know you have a couple of photos to maybe show this, because it's always good to seeing is believing, as I like to say. As far as, so is this, so are we talking as far as the core infrastructure? Is this an NVI thing? Is it Aspen? Is it ST2110? Because obviously that's a key conversation for any IP workflow. Okay,
so what we did, we divided all traditional OB units into different modules, each with a different functionality. So we have dedicated audio modules, intercom modules, video switcher modules, replay modules, base station modules, etc. We have tailboard modules that guarantee the connectivity to the outside world. And all of these modules, they are combined according to the specifications of the project, of course, as it's scalable, but also connected via the industry accepted format SMPTE 2110.
I see, gotcha. So.
For the control software, we decided to stick to a familiar broadcast software controller, which is the northbound control, and that one interfaces with the southbound controller that runs in the background. I see. Okay. One of the specifics and I think strength of the system is that it in terms of topology, it goes a step further than a classic IT network, which is usually core leaf, as we designed a fully redundant mesh network that allows all these modules and devices to connect anywhere and achieving a full operational flexibility.
Right. So does it mean the modules can be located in different cities, countries, continents?
The whole system can be together as a traditional on-site production, but the modules can literally be remote on different places, obviously given the required connectivity. But it's a fully flexible and scaled system. We work with a strategic partner called SDN Square, which is a software company, and they developed a software called Grid, which empowers the software-defined network. So this is a key to as it guides the path for all data streams as a sort of traffic controller, and it creates predictable and low latency data streams, even in this many-to-many environment. A few shots of our workplaces.
So it's video shading, right? Audio.
The audio workspace. Some EVS positions. And this is the heart of the system. In the front, you can see some EVS modules. This is the heart of the system, which goes into either a truck, goes into either a porta cabin. In the example of the large sporting event, which didn't happen last summer, it was housed into large sea containers, of which I also have a picture.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. So for I mean, I guess the great thing here is you have flexibility for the larger events. Like you mentioned, you can with these shipping containers, and then you can obviously do smaller events and scale it down to smaller flat packs, right? I'm assuming in terms of flexibility.
Absolutely. I mean, the idea is to roll this technology out throughout our group, to use it in both smaller setups and as well as in huge production configurations. and be very flexible in moving technology from one country to the other, from one OB to another flyaway, and to have one uniform production technology throughout the group.
Right. That's great. That's great.
That's what we call deploy.
Yeah, I guess now the key, obviously, for you with all the budget pressures, and obviously every euro, pound, dollar you invest, you have to get more out of it. I guess the beauty here is that when you separate the pieces into smaller pieces, it's much easier for you to get more utilization out of them, right? For example, you're not.
That's obviously the idea.
Yeah.
That's obviously instead of spending too much time and effort in trying to think how the new truck will look like. Will it be XXL up to small? Depending on the needs of what we think will be needed in the next years, this should allow for a very flexible setup.